Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is my social life and what that's been like. So, most of my friends are kind of come from two main areas. The first area is from the church I go to. Um, it's an international church, it's English speaking. It's been really great, like getting to meet people who aren't just students, who come from like all sorts of countries, and doing all sorts of different jobs and backgrounds. Most of the people at the church are English speaking, and like people come and go a lot because it's mostly foreigners. But there's also quite a few Koreans who go, and it's just been really fun and like really great living, going there. Like the place I'm staying in at the moment is apartment of a family who go to my church, and like I'm really grateful for them hosting me and letting me stay with them for a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's been really good going to that church. The other main group of my friends is our fellow exchange students who go to PNU. Like it's fairly common for exchange students to kind of all gravitate towards each other because they all have one very big thing in common. So yeah, that's the other main group of friends. There's also a language club I went to at my university, where there was Korean students. You'd be partnered up with the Korean students, with a couple of exchange students, and like they'd teach you Korean, and like maybe you'd help with English, with their English or stuff like that. So that was also really good. I made some great friends from that as well. In terms of classmates, I didn't make friends with any of my classmates, except for one guy, who was also an international student. But that's not something that's. But the reason for that is mainly because students in my classes, especially biology and most science classes, they're quite shy, and not that confident in speaking English, even if they do speak it really well. I think they prefer to stick to what they know and who they know, and to be honest, that's fair enough. Science classes almost always have lots of shy and socially awkward people. I know I'm one of them, and it's like similar in the UK. I don't have many classmates on my course back home either, so that's not so much a Korean thing, it's more of a science nerdy thing, I guess. So yeah, the university does have clubs and societies, and I've heard like mixed things. I think generally positive things. Like it's hard for exchange students to join because there's an initial communication barrier where most of society's activities are done in Korean, and like conversations in Korean. They're also really hard to find. Maybe that's because I joined halfway through the academic year, because in Korea the academic year starts in March and ends in December, as opposed to the UK and the West, where it starts in September and ends in the summer. So yeah, there wasn't so much of a freshers fair, and the only way I heard about certain societies was just through word of mouth. Like I don't know if there is a student union. I don't think it's the same as student unions in UK universities. There's no website for it or anything. So societies were really hard to find out about. I did hear from some exchange students who did join clubs or societies that they do accept international students, and they're very friendly once you join. I think it's not so difficult to join sports societies, because you're focusing more on an activity than discussion. I also had a roommate in dorms and he was great. It was quite an interesting experience living in dorms because you have to share a room, which I haven't done since I was a child with my brother, and it does work, and it was generally a good experience. But sometimes when you just want, no matter how good your roommate will be, you will want to have alone time, or to have a space that's completely your own, and you don't get that when you have a roommate. So yeah, that was at times a bit restrictive, but generally I was fine with it and got pretty used to it, I'd say. So generally speaking, I'm not the most sociable of people. Like, I'm quite introverted, and I prefer to just have a few really close friends as opposed to lots of less close friends. And so coming to Korea, where most of my friends are back in England, it was kind of hard because I wanted to have those close friendships, but I didn't really know anyone, so you can't have a close friendship straight away. And so at this point in time, I'd say I don't really have any close, tight friends, but like I do have some good friends, and like probably this time, in like, not this time, but like in the summer after my second semester, I will probably, some of those friendships I have now will become a lot closer. So yeah, I know I do have to be patient with that, but it has been difficult because I miss a lot of my friends back home, and I barely get to hear from them. So it's been lonely, and I'm not lying when I say this has been the loneliest I have ever felt. It's been, in terms of friendships and social life, this has been the hardest 4 months of my life. Like, I have been incredibly lonely at times, and it does affect how I see things and how I behave. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough. Yeah. Okay, so finally I'm gonna talk about some of my experiences and highlights of the 4 months I've had here so far. A lot of the things I've been up to and a lot of the interesting things I've done, I've already made video abouts on this YouTube channel, so I definitely recommend you go back and watching those videos if you haven't already. A lot of what I've been up to, the interesting things at least, in my opinion, have already been covered in videos or that are already out or about to come out. But some of the more general points are that Korea has a lot of mountains, and Busan itself is especially mountainous. Like, honestly, if you're standing anywhere in Busan, you can probably see a mountain that's not too far away. If you can't see one, that means you're either on it, but if you're on it, you can definitely see other mountains, so I don't know what I'm saying. You're either, or more likely, you're surrounded by buildings and your field of view is not very far. But generally speaking, if there weren't any buildings in Busan, you'd just be seeing mountains for days. And because of that, it means I've done a lot of hiking, which I've been really happy to do and like really enjoy that. Like, in England, we don't really have nearly as many mountains, and also depending on where you are, your landscape can be like really flat. So yeah, just the landscape itself compared to the UK is really different, and I've really just enjoyed exploring. Otherwise, on a completely different note, I've been to a few K-pop concerts, which were also really fun. I did go to like a Music Bank performance, which I did cover in one of my previous videos, which was really interesting. Got to see quite a few different groups. Also, another big highlight was getting to go to the TWICE 4th anniversary concert. It was a Halloween concert. As a guy, it might be embarrassing, but I'm not too fussed. I really like TWICE, so yeah, I was really happy I got to see them. And like, also, there's most festivals in Korea will have some sort of music performance. Even at my university, at their university festival, like Simon Dominic and Mamamoo came. So yeah, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be to see Korean music and K-pop, like even without spending money. So yeah, it's been really good. And talking about festivals, like Korea do take their festivals like really seriously. Like they're on a whole other level compared to English festivals. Like the festivals I remember back home were like school festivals of fairs, which weren't that big. Like Korea, they're really big. Like some of the highlights were like the Jeonju Lantern Festival, which was in the last video I uploaded, and Busan Fireworks Festival, which will be out in a video if it's not already out. And like there's the Seoul Fireworks Festival as well. Like they were really impressive. Like I have not seen fireworks that good ever before. So yeah, and also just being in a city and like wandering around and seeing the night views and the skylines has also been quite fun for me. I'm a city boy at heart, even though Brighton is a lot smaller than Busan. It's like a tenth of the size. It's still, I just love the buzz and the energy that the big city vibe has. One other thing was the baseball game that I got to see. That was way back in September. I recommend going to a baseball game if you can when it's in season. I think the season starts again in the spring. So yeah, if you're coming to Korea from that point, if you can get to a baseball game, I definitely recommend going. I did a video on that as one of my more prouder videos I'm proud of making. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking that one out if you haven't watched it already. Also to come, I will be going to Japan and China in January, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of experiences that are yet to come that I will also really enjoy.